Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. Do I have a good video for you today? I have an update on the Young Thug and Gunner's case out of Atlanta, the YSL, the Young Slime Life. It's really an ongoing case that you're reading about in the news, and I had to comment on it because there's a couple of things I saw in this case that I wanted to make very, very clear of what my position is on. Before I get started, please check me out on YouTube member programs, Patreon. Check my book out, Gangster Redemption. Just going great. You want to hear stuff about Atlanta and Georgia? You'll hear about that right there in that book. Everything's going well. We are continuing forward with everything we're doing with the cigar and everything else. So just check us out on all our platforms. And please, if you like what I'm doing, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, comment, because I read a lot of comments. All right, let's get into this case. Okay, this case is with two rappers out of Atlanta. And of course, I did my research and how the case is going, who's involved in this case, and everything you're going to want to know about this case. This is the Gunner and a young thug out of Atlanta. They're two rappers. Now, the prosecutor says they're a gang, indicts these guys on a 28-count indictment or a 56-count indictment with these guys. And, you know, what she's really using for a lot of evidence in this case is lyrics out of music. I totally disagree with that. She's also using the conspiracy law. You guys should know what I believe in this conspiracy law. I don't believe in it. I don't think that they should have a conspiracy law. I think you're just trying to get people. You know, you're lumping people into groups, and you shouldn't be able to lump people into groups. But let's get into the case itself. You know, Gunner got out December 14th. A lot of people are saying he's ratting, but I don't believe he is. And I'll tell you why. First of all, in the case, everything you're going to want to know about the case, Young Thug his real name is Jeffrey Lamar Williams, and Gunner's legal name is Sergio Giovanni Kitchens. Now, those two guys are young rappers out of Atlanta. They were under a 56-count RICO case against Thug, Gunner, and 26 members of the Young Stoner Life Collective. Now, YSL is the Young Slime Life. They got an 88-page grand jury indictment. Now, you know, what I believe in grand juries is one thing. You know, a prosecutor has unlimited access to give stuff that's not even factual. They can put stuff and they can surmise a case in front of a grand jury. And there's an old saying, you can indict a ham sandwich. And you know what? That's pretty much true. As sad as it is, it's pretty much true. Well, on December 14th, Gunner did take a plea. And he took an Alford plea. An Alford plea, what people don't know, an Alford plea is where you take the plea but to maintain your innocence. Now, why is that different than any regular plea? Most plea deals, you have to what they call allocate. You have to talk in front of the court and tell about your crimes. You have to get up in front of the judge and say what you did, and then the judge accepts that plea. Now, the judge doesn't have to accept that plea. But in this case, an Alford plea is where he doesn't have to do that. He takes a plea, and in his plea, he gets a 5-year sentence, which was suspended for what he had. He was time served, and he's been in jail approximately 8 months. And he's going to do 500 hours of community service. With that sentence alone, this shows me this case wasn't that strong. And in his plea deal, and he says it right here, and it's a pretty important part of the case. You know, he is the affiliate. He's one of the guys in it. And they're saying he committed crimes himself. And his 5-year sentence was commuted to time served, 5 hours of community service. Now, that's a racketeering conspiracy. First of all, these young people were indicted under the RICO Act. The RICO Act is racketeering, influence, corruption, and organization. I don't buy it. That RICO Act came out in the 1970, 71, I think it was. And it was really to get mobsters who were untouchable at the time. And now they were put into an organization. You were in an organization, and the people on the top of that organization benefited. And they benefited in big ways. And that's what they're saying, trying these rappers to violent crimes through their art. You know, I don't buy that either. I don't buy the RICO Act being used in this way. Some prosecutors around the United States have gotten overzealous with the RICO Act. I was indicted under the RICO Act, and they tried to get a lot of things because under the RICO Act, There's predicate crimes. There could be murder. There could be robberies. There could be, like my case was interfering with interstate commerce, way of jewelry robberies. So what they call RICO'd me under the Hobbs Act. Did they get overzealous? Maybe a little bit. But was I involved in organized crime? Yes. Did it go any further than it did? No, because they really couldn't make it go any further than they did. They tried. But let's see who was involved in this case. You got Young Thug and 27 other associates as a member of the criminal street gang YSL or Young Slime Life. This is what the prosecutors are saying. Now, obviously, the defendants are saying this is not a gang, but they are saying they are affiliated with the National Bloods gang. And some associates also claim the blood subset gangs of Sex, Money, Murder, or 30 Deep. You know, at the trial of these guys, and that's in January 23 or February 23, they're supposed to go on trial. Who knows how many more postponements they're going to be. The prosecutor had better really prove that they have associations with these gangs. Because if you can't prove their association with these gangs, I think you're really on a thin ice. And I find it very wrong that the prosecutor is using the RICO Act in this way to try to get young people with even the lyrics they are singing. Let me tell you how strong I am against what she's doing. There is a petition online. The petition is backed by guys like Jay-Z and a lot of other people. And this petition is what I believe. It's a petition to protect Black artists. I believe it. I believe in it so much. I went online. Not only did I sign the petition, but I donated money towards the petition because I want to see this stopped. I want to see what they're doing to young people stopped. And I'll tell you why. It's getting so out of hand that a person could write a song or what they write wherever and be indicted for it, be accused of doing those exact crimes. Now, that is like saying an author like Stephen King, who writes about fucking crazy shit, murders and stuff of that nature. Is he a murderer now? Should he be investigated for that murder? You know, art is a funny thing, but art has to be let go. Art has to be used through the imagination. Music is in a big way. You know, songs about doing drugs, songs about and smoking a J, which is Paul Simon, you know, outside smoking a J. I mean, should have he been indicted back in those days? Come on, guys. At what point did his music lyrics become music lyrics? Are we going to start indicting people because they do gaming, GTA? What's next? At what point are we not a free society? At what point is speech not free? We should have the ability to say and do what you want. Now, if you prove that I did a crime, I should go to jail. No qualms about that. But prove that I committed a crime. Don't say, oh, we think you talked about it because you were in a room and maybe I was writing lyrics with someone else and we started talking about crime and all of a sudden now you're going to indict me under a conspiracy? That is ludicrous. So I did. I not only signed this petition, the petition to protect Black artists, I donated money to it. And I hope you do too, because it's got to stop. These prosecutors got too much power. They indicted these guys under the RICO Act. Now, the Georgia RICO Act, it's not a federal case, but the Georgia RICO Act is mirrored just like the federal RICO Act. And it was made to get gangsters and mobsters and drug organizations with heads up on the top that were just collecting money and in their penthouses and directing traffic. No, they're not made to get a bunch of kids that are on the streets doing rap music and do whatever other stuff they're doing. Is crime being committed? No idea. If you prove that they committed a crime, prove it within a reasonable doubt. You use every tactic you can, because I know you do. Snitches and shit. I know organizations or police agents use false evidence, and I'm not going to get into all that right here. Prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, not a conspiracy law, and I believe that can happen. Now, let's talk about the case itself. This prosecutor, who her name is Willis, is Fannie Willis, is a Democrat in Fulton County, Georgia, and she has vowed to stop the crime. And she says 75% or to 80% of all crimes committed by the gangs. I don't buy that for a second, not 1 second. I'd love to know how they got that number to throw it out there like that. But I think it's disgusting that they're trying to scare people into saying that these young men are all gang members. What are they going to do? Say everybody who gets caught doing a crime is a gang member because they hang out with 3 other people? That's ludicrous too. I mean, it's just freaking ludicrous. Well, anyway, Brian Steele, Young Doug's lawyer, told the New York Times that YSL is not a criminal gang at all. Mr. Williams came from an incredibly horrible upbringing, and Mr. Williams is Doug Life. And he was conducting himself throughout his life in a way that is just marveled at. Mr. Steele said he committed no crime whatsoever. And this lawyer is coming out saying that you very rarely hear lawyers say stuff like that before a trial, but he's coming out pretty strong. He must know that the discovery has nothing. Now, Gunna, another rapper, guilty plea serves as a public acknowledgement of his association with YSL. That's all it does. And the rapper said in a statement, though he emphasizes that his association is purely musical. He maintains his innocence despite his plea. With an Alfred plea, you can do that. While I agreed to always be truthful, I want to make it perfectly clear, listen to this, that I have not made any statements, have not been interviewed, have not cooperated, have not agreed to testify or be a witness for or against any party in the case, and have absolutely no intention of being involved in the trial process in any way. Now, although Gunna did say that, he can be called to testify, but by law, he can testify and take the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment states you do not have to say anything that might incriminate yourself. And I hope he takes the Fifth, because what he is saying here, people are saying that he's ratting. With that statement, I want to see paperwork that he ratted. If people have that paperwork, and they will have it in due time, if it is out there, he will be labeled a snitch. And as you can see, I'm not a big lover of snitches. 2 to 3 keep a secret if 2 are dead. And I do not wish death on anybody, even rats. I used to, but now, listen, in my older age, I moved on in life. And I think people have to make the choices or the decisions themselves and whatever they're going to do in life. When I get emails that I'm helping people, and I hope it's because I'm as truthful as possible, I tell every truth I can. I was on the Concrete podcast, and I hope you listen to it. And I was on there for 3.5 hours. And as Danny said and his producer said, I Googled everything you talked about, from dates to whatnot. I don't care if it was about my arm, my muscle being tore. He says, you tell the truth 100% of the time. And I do. I am telling the exact truth on this case and every case I do. And I want everybody to know that's why I believe you out there can change. If you made mistakes in your life, you can change. Well, let's keep it going. All 28 individuals named in the indictment were charged with conspiracy. Hear what I just said again? Conspiracy to violate the State Racketeering Influence and Corruption Act, or RICO. World is this happening? How they are in essence saying Doug Life is a mob boss. That's what they're really saying. It's ludicrous. According to the Times, this is not the first time Willis, this is the state attorney, has sought RICO charges. In 2014, the attorney argued that Atlanta public schools teachers accused of cheating on standardized were part of a racketeering conspiracy. This lady has taken the Racketeering Act and went wacko with it. I really believe that. In her investigation into Trump, she has insinuated that the former president and his associates may have violated the state RICO law in their alleged attempts to commit election fraud in 2020. You know, that's a hell of a stretch. I don't see where any of that really is an organization. Obviously, if you're saying that, then you might as well just say the United States government is a big criminal organized crime family. And maybe you are too, lady. Well, this 56-count indictment claims that YSL members were involved in murder, attempted murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, theft, drug dealing, carjacking, and witness intimidation. Notably, the indictment portrays Doug as something of a mob boss. He is alleged to have committed multiple crimes that he is not being charged with. While Doug is not being charged for those overt acts, which include possession of methamphetamine with the intent to distribute and threatening to kill a man at a mall. Why aren't you charging with him? You really have some weak case here. You're not charging the guy that you're charging with any specific crime except the RICO? I don't get that. Usually you have, like my case, I was under the RICO Act and I was armed robberies by way of jewelry robberies under the Racketeering Act. Other serious allegations include that Thug rented a car that he used in the commission of a murder of Donovan Thompson. Again, did you hear what I just said? Alleged. Anyway, he's a rival gang leader. 5 YSL members, including Yak Gotti, were charged with murder in connection with the Thomas death. In addition, 3 YSL members were charged with attempted murder in connection with an attack on rapper YFN Lucci, who was stabbed in jail in February of this year. In April 2021, Fulton County charged YFN Lucci and 11 other suspects in a 75-page, 105-count racketeering indictment, according to the WSB-TV. Lucci is currently in jail awaiting trial. I think this lady's gone batso with the fucking Racketeering Act. Later, following Doug's May 9th arrest, he was charged with 7 additional felonies. This is Doug, and reported police raid of his Buckhead home. The new charges include possession of drugs with intent to distribute, possession of firearms, and 3 counts of being a person employed or associated with a criminal street gang to conduct or participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of a crime, per documents reviewed by Vulture. That's bullshit, 7 charge. You with a gang. That's bullshit. That's association, I call it. Also, the charges they really got him when they raided his home were possession of some drugs. They have to put intent to distribute to make it look good. And also a firearm. Guys have guns. They didn't say illegal guns, number one. So this is a whole fucking way they're going about this one. And then on July 6th in New York, the New York Times reported, not New York, Atlanta, the New York Times reported that Judge Erla Glanville of Fulton County Superior Court ordered that defense attorneys not to share witness contact information with their clients. What is going on here is the prosecutor is saying that these guys are intimidating witnesses or will intimidate witnesses. And here's the sad part of that. The reason the prosecutor is doing that is because there's only 2 ways you don't get bail. You don't get bail if you are a threat to the community. I don't see where they're proving that at this point. Or you're a flight risk. They are doing this now, saying they're a threat to intimidate witnesses, so they have to stay in jail. I don't buy it again. I think it's all bullshit. And I think what's happening here is there's young people of color in Atlanta getting screwed. I know people, I don't care if you're white or black. You know I don't give a shit either. I just can't stand that this is happening. And that is why I signed the petition and gave money to this petition to stop this bullshit of charging these kids from the lyrics in art they make. You are restricting people on what they can say. And that is a violation of free speech if I ever saw one. And that should not happen ever in this country. All of our fucking goddamn amendments. I'm sorry if I'm getting upset. The First Amendment of the United States, freedom of speech. You want to take that away from young people. Come on, do we want these people to be with us or against us? And I personally am very proud of the young people. In fact, today, if you're watching this video right now, I will be doing a lecture or a seminar or a presentation at a school in Chicago, a high school, with these young people I'm so proud of. These young people are what this future is about. And they're trying to help the criminal justice system. You're going to watch me do a video on this, and I hope you really understand what I'm talking about now, because these young people are what it's all about. Anyway, Brian Steele, a lawyer for the defense, denied any witness tampering. However, I cannot wait to receive the discovery. He can continue so that we can continue our march toward clearing an innocent man. Gunna was denied bond for the 2nd time in July. Ursel refusing to reconsider his original May 23rd decision to deny Gunna bond. Steve Sato, Gunna's co-lead counsel, said in a statement, the prosecution again produced no evidence at all. Instead, it chose to rely on vague and non-specific allegations and speculation through the statement of the prosecutor's office. Gunna deserves better from our justice system, and he is right. All people deserve better from our justice system. I want that to be known. The decision arrives after an associate planning to testify against the rapper entered protective custody after documents leaked on online blogs identifying him as a witness. There's been no threats. And listen to this. Since the date, we found a lot of information concerning our witnesses on basically celebrity news outlets. That's going to happen. Celebrity case, people are exposed. They have not threatened or did anything against any person at all. And it says right here, since the date of the filing, however, information from the state's attorney's material has appeared on public websites. None of the defendants have been granted bonds since the May indictment because of concerns about witness intimidation and potential for additional criminal activity. You know, I am the biggest non-believer in that. You know, we are putting people in terrible conditions, and I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. And I think it's wrong, dead wrong. Kristen Norway, an attorney for Gunna, asked prosecutors to share evidence that witnesses were being threatened. We want to know what specific threats there are. There have been many allegations that there are threats to witnesses. And to date, we have received no discovery, not a single shred of evidence from a witness who was actually threatened. Young Thug has remained in jail since in May of his arrest, and he will be there until he is on trial. Worse, they have argued it can be a violation of your free speech. Absolutely. The lyrics being used as a piece of evidence is bullshit. And again, that is why I donated money towards that. Now, this is not something that's out of the ordinary around what's going on, and we need a petition. We need to change the laws because it can happen to you people. Bossy, Bobby Shmurda, Draco the Ruler, and 6ix9ine lyrics have all been deployed in court as evidence against them. Bossy and Draco the Ruler were acquitted. They were thrown out, but not the others. In January of 2021, Maryland ruled that rap lyrics could constitute evidence of guilt. I don't get it. Maryland. Jay-Z and other prominent artists took the stand by publicly supporting Senate Bill S-7527, a proposed New York law known as Rap Music on Trial. The bill would limit the use of lyrics in criminal trials. Prosecutors in YSL case have cited multiple songs as evidence of gang affiliation and racketeering activity. They're using songs to convict people. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Overall, the music industry has been big time behind them with the support of Young Thug and Gunna. And even in an interview on ABC News, Killer Mike, hip-hop is not respected as an art because Black people in this country are not recognized as full human beings. I don't know about going that far, Killer Mike, but I get it, and I get what you're saying. If we allow the courts to prosecute these men based on characters they create and stories of pretend that they tell in their rhymes, then next will be at your door. And Killer Mike is right about that. 300 Entertainment involvement, which is Young Stoner Life Records, which is the distributor behind Young Stoner Life Records, which is to Gunna and Thug in myriad of ways. They've been helping them. Atlantic Records circulated a petition to protect Black art. And 300 even arranged an audio recording of Thug in which he urges people to sign the petition and shared it with a crowd at Hot 97 Summer Jam earlier this month. Company also distributed Gunna's open letter to fans and the public. I use my art form, my gift from God, to change my circumstances. For now, I don't have freedom, but I am innocent, he wrote. Well, Gunna and Young Thug are in jail, and here's what's next. Young Thug will remain in jail until the trial begins. The trial is set for January of 2023. An emerges here filed May 13th. Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, blasted his inhumane jail conditions and filed a request for bond. This is what is wrong. Thug has been detained in what amounts to solitary confinement, total isolation, in a windowless cement compartment with only a bed, a toilet, and an overhead light, which remains on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, preventing any sleep, rest, or meditation. Steele claims that the rapper has no access to media, including TV or the internet, or any freedom to exercise, shower, or have human contact. That is so wrong, people. You are damaging this young man beyond repair, what they're doing. They really are. It just blows me away to think they're letting that happen. Just crazy. Gunna also spoke out against the poor jail conditions in an Instagram post that shared an open letter to his 4.4 million followers. 22 and 2, just a bed and a shower, no windows, just walls. He wrote in the caption, can't see or talk to anyone. And let me explain no human contact. It's the worst thing in the world you can do to somebody. No human contact. It's terrible. It really is. What is clear is that Fulton County continues to conflate gang activity with rap music. There's not single change in policy. The optics look like gang stuff. You know, they don't even come up with a plan to fix this if they think it was a gang issue. And that's sad in itself that we have people out in the prosecutor's offices don't really give a shit about the communities. They don't. They just care about getting a win, a la Nancy Grace. So I don't believe that should be right. And that is exactly what she's doing. It looks ugly, but the reality is that most of it is just music. If there's violence, it's interpersonal, personal, not organized. He was troubled by the use of the RICO law. Now, this is a Professor Lance Williams from Northeastern Illinois University. It was a great college for law. He was troubled by the use of the RICO law, which in his words is a thing created for the mafia, now being used to indict young black males who are flirting with the culture and the music, but who are not too involved with any criminal enterprises. He continued, once they hit you with the RICO, you're finished, is what he said. And the RICO is such a wide-ranging thing that they can get you on. And they're going to probably make it at the end in a jury. They're going to give them so many things that they can get. So I understand why Gunna took a plea without admitting of guilt, an Alfred plea, and it's without admitting guilt. And I think it's important. When asked about the proposed Georgia state bill to limit the use of rap lyrics as evidence in criminal pleadings, Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis, this great fucking prosecutor, said she doesn't think the legislation would be successful. Well, I hope she's wrong. I think if you decide to admit your crimes over a beat, I'm going to use it. Wow, this bitch is hard. Really is. Willis said, I have some legal advice. Don't confess to crimes on rap lyrics if you don't want them used. So let's just tell people they can't make music or do whatever it is. I don't know, maybe because I like some rap music. I was a big fan of Eminem, some other ones, Jay-Z and a couple others I like. And I think that's important. But I'll give you the formal definition. Obviously, I knew what an Alfred plea is. An Alfred plea, also known as the best interest plea, registers a formal admission of guilt towards charges in the criminal court, while the defendant simultaneously expresses their innocence towards those same charges. I don't get it. I never did. And I remember it. And I think it's a way for prosecutors just to get more convictions. Well, my views here. I think you got him. I don't believe it's right what they're doing. I don't think Gunner's telling at this point. Will he? I don't know. What information he gave, I don't know. In 5 years, you'll be able to find out because the Freedom of Information Act can get those in 5 years after this is all done. That is by law too. So you can do that. And I'll tell you what, we as a society have to stop attacking and going after young people. If they commit a crime, and I don't care who it is, if you commit a crime, you should be held accountable. I was, and I have no gripes about that. You all know that. So my feelings is they're going to get acquitted. That's just my feelings, and I hope they do. It is so hard to get an attorney today that's competent. They have so many attorneys coming out of school that they don't have the experience in court to do what they need to do, and the other attorneys are getting tired of fighting the feds because the feds will beat you fucking down. Just let you know. That's exactly what will happen. With that said, everybody, please take a look on this case. Check it out. Have a great day. Please make good choices. I don't want to see you in the joint. Please make good choices and enjoy life. And if you want to follow this case, please do. I'm going to follow it to the end, and I'm going to find out what's going to happen to these young people because I'm kind of upset. Now, if a few of these people in this group committed a crime, what they're going to do is lump them all together anyway. Well, you were held in a marijuana, you were holding whatever, paraphernalia, and that's going to be bullshit. And it's already said to be bullshit, and I think we as a society need to stop it. We need to stop it. We need to live and let live. And I hope I said that well enough. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.